Greetings and thank you. I'm Clifton A. Castile, author, educator, and academic researcher. I will review several best-selling books I have read and enjoyed, most of them self-help guides. I would like to begin with 3 rhetorical questions. How many of you have read a book this year? How many of you know the value of reading? How many know whether reading a non-fictional book or listening to it will be more cognitively beneficial? Let's review a few facts about why we should read. To start, you are never too old to begin reading, gaining knowledge, and sharing it with others. Reading matters because it strengthens critical thinking, expands vocabulary, and keeps the mind active. Beyond education, reading can reduce stress, build empathy by exposing us to different perspectives, and support lifelong personal and professional growth. Many of us had grandparents who read the newspaper regularly, and that habit was both informative and therapeutic. As a teenager, I asked my grandparents why they could not share one newspaper instead of each having a copy of the same paper. Both replied, "Who wants to read a wrinkled newspaper?" Well, I wanted to say I wouldn't bother to read anything, and I certainly would not even read a newspaper if it was straightened. Reading for as little as 6 minutes can reduce stress and lower the heart rate. It may also improve sleep and boost energy, benefits I did not fully understand while experiencing severe mental stress. Just as important, reading often helps us retain more information than simply hearing it. So why are many Americans not reading? A survey found that 55% of adults cannot read above a 6th grade reading level, which is one reason local newspapers are often written at about an 8th grade reading level. Sociologists and many published studies suggest that social media and technology have shortened our patience and increased our desire for instant answers and gratification. In my reading classes, I was unsure whether to advise my students to read aloud or silently when reading for leisure. Reading aloud can improve memorization, while silent reading is often better for deep comprehension and speed. People who do not read may reduce their opportunities to become knowledgeable by more than 30%. I did not understand the power of reading until my mid-40s, when a friend challenged me to take it seriously. No, my friend embarrassed me. And because I had not learned that value from my parents, I failed to pass it on to my children. Once I recognized the importance of reading, I began reading 2 newspapers every day. Now, whenever I have an appointment and expect a wait, I always bring a book with me. I was in the receptionist's office trying to finish a book when a boy about 8 years old asked why I was reading that book that way. I explained that I have trouble reading. Now, before I could say why, he asked, "Mister, don't you regret never learning to read? Reading is fun." I told him I was there for cataract surgery and that my vision problems make reading difficult, which is why I hold my book the way I do, kind of sideways. Books focused on self-improvement can be valuable even in the short term. Many people assume their lives are fine and need no adjustment, but I learned later in life that self-help and mental health articles and guides are not only for people in crisis. They can also help readers understand how to prevent or reduce future depression. Now today I will review 3 books out of 2017 to be reviewed at a later date. Our first book, an unusual title, Let Them Theory. The author, Mel Robbins, a former lawyer, reached rock bottom and struggled to keep going. In this book, she shares how she recovered. Her podcast has 40 million followers, making her one of the most popular online podcasters and a highly sought-after speaker. When she appears on TED Talk, tickets are sold out months in advance. Let Them Theory is a transformative self-help guide that teaches readers how to reclaim personal power by releasing the need to control others and focusing instead on 8 key areas of life that support happiness and success. Let Them Theory means accepting that you cannot and should not try to manage or control the actions, thoughts, or feelings of others. It is essentially a mental decluttering tool that encourages detachment from external expectations. Let Me is the second part of the theory that shifts the focus back to the individual. Once you allow others to be who they are, then you can choose how to respond. Prioritize self-care and protect your peace. Bill Johnson, a colleague from Curtin County, Oklahoma, recommended the next book on social media. I had previously seen the author on C-SPAN's weekend nonfictional program, Book TV, which I watch regularly to learn about books, say on history, sociology, self-improvement, religion, autobiographies, and biographies. When a book interests me, I decide whether to buy it for further reading. The outstanding book, The Warmth of Other Suns. I love that title, The Warmth of Other Suns. It is a masterwork of narrative nonfiction. It chronicles the Great Migration from 1915 through 1970. Isabel Wilkerson, Pulitzer Prize-winning book, took more than a decade of research before it was published in 2010. Now, as a researcher, I realize that's a lot of factual information. The Warmth of Other Suns tells the true stories of 3 courageous Black Southerners who made life-changing decisions and followed 3 major paths of the Great Migration. A wife and mother who left Mississippi for Chicago. A college student and citrus picker from Florida who moved to New York. And a surgeon who served in the United States Army before driving across the desert from Louisiana to California. Nearly 6 million Black Americans left the segregated South for northern and western cities in search of a better life. Now, that's an extraordinary migration, especially that only about 10 million Black Americans lived in the South at that time. 16 years after publication, The Warmth of Other Suns remains recognized as an informative historian classic. Now, I haven't completed reading this book so far. It's soul-searching. The title, If There Is No God, The Battle Over Who Defines Good and Evil. The author, Dennis Prager, a conservative podcaster. Now, the book is a defense of objective biblical morality. Consider this. Prager argues that without an objective source of truth, morality is reduced to subjective feelings, meaning right and wrong become mere options. Who determines what is good and evil, and why does God allow the innocent to suffer? A question that has debated beginning with human existence. Prager asks, if both a stranger and your dog were drowning, and you could save only one, who would you choose? If you choose your loyal dog, he will likely argue that your choice was guided by personal emotion rather than objective morality. His analogy might have been stronger if he had also addressed race, especially in today's climate of racial indifference. I mildly disagree with Prager. That is this: we can be moral without believing in God. But I ask, is Prager's thought one of ethical relativism, saying that people should adhere to the canons of society, what will determine the behaviors of what is good or evil? On the other hand, moral relativism is determined by one's morality, comes from the conscience. Yet the book, If There Is No God, the battle over who defines good and evil, seems to be a soul-searching book. I'll let you know when I finish. If you follow my path, often I read multiple non-fictional books at once. Now, if the first book isn't as interested as I had hoped, then I begin reading another and finally completing both. I also keep a book in my car for reading if time permits me. Often I'll just take out my book and I'm stuck in traffic. Now, in case you're curious, my adult children can read above a 6th grade level. However, I am unsure whether their reading skills approach an 8th grade level. On the other hand, they have instilled the value of reading in their children. Oh, it's so wonderful. If you have any questions, please contact me. I am a certified reading specialist and have written numerous peer-reviewed articles. And you can reach me at cliftonacastile.com. There you can procure my email address because I want to hear from you. And please, read something. Thank you. We'll continue at a later date.